today we will discuss about Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies. Content: first, introduction; second, Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies; third, general chemographic phase relations; fourth, physical condition of metamorphism; and fifth, conclusion. Now take up first module. On the basis of pressure and temperature, we can divide the metamorphic phases into three types, mainly phases of low pressure, phases of intermediate pressure, and phases of high pressure. Mayasiro originally recognized three different phases series. First, a geolite, prehenite, pumpelite, blue schist eclogite type. Second, a typical Barrovian type characterized by kyanite to selemonite type. And third, an Abukama type of green schist to amphibolite gamlite characterized by the paragenesis of Andalusite selemonite type. The Abukama type is named after the Abukama region in Japan and is similar to the Buchan type of the Darildian. The phases of low pressure are listed below in order of increasing temperature of metamorphism, that is, first, Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies; second, Hornblende Hornfels Facies; third, Pyroxene Hornfels Facies; and fourth is your Sanidinite Facies. If we will move from Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies to Sanidinite Facies, the temperature usually increase and pressure normally decrease from Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies to Sanidinite Facies. Now take up the Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies. This facies was introduced by Phi, Turner and Varugan in 1958 to cover the mineral assemblages that sometimes appear in the outer fringe of contact areoles. Most of the understanding of the phases of low pressure is drawn from contact areoles developed by Pluton at relatively higher crustal level. Post-tectonic granitic plutons cutting deformed geosynclinal filling and Archean greenstone belts flow underlying massive precambrian stratified mafic ultramafic sheet injected into virtually undeformed basin sediments and volcanics. The general metamorphic regime consequently is one of the low pressure, commonly pressure 2 kilobar and less than 3 kilobar, and temperature for the most part consists with Jigger models. Temperature varies from 300 to 750 degrees centigrade. Phases therefore can be treated in simple sequence of increasing grade from the outside inward in zoned areoles. The mineral assemblages have much common with those of the green schist facies. Indeed, it is the only difference of field occurrences that separates Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The peltic rocks are represented by peltic hornfels, and peltic hornfels contain quartz, mica, andalusite, stiplomylene and almandine garnet, which is present in the higher temperature part of the green schist facies is absent. Chloritoid is generally absent or very rarely present. The difference between Albite Epidote Hornfels facies and green schist facies: Albite Epidote Hornfels facies contain andalusite present, and while in case of green schist facies kyanite present. In case of Albite Epidote Hornfels Facies, chloritoid absent and chloritoid usually present in greenschist facies. Almandine garnet is absent in Albite Epidote Hornfels facies, present in upper greenschist facies. Maculose texture present normally in Albite Epidote Hornfels facies, particularly in peltic assemblages, while maculose texture absent in greenschist facies. General chemographic phase relation. The Albite Epidote Hornfels facies was proposed to cover mineral assemblages as they begin to form in the outermost fringe of the contact areoles. See the figure on a screen where we can observe the contact areoles, and we can see the different zones are present around intrusive body. Immediate contact, we can see we can observe cenidenite facies, while at outer fringe we can see the Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The talc appear as the first silicate phase in metadolomites of some areoles, and antigorite has been similarly recorded in areoles in serpentinites, Telly in 1951. Andalusite porphyroblastic, commonly seen in spotted slates, far from invisible platonic contact, appears to a stable phase in some peltic assemblages of the Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The paragenesis recorded in the outermost part of the Tono areoles, Japan, Seki in 1957, lends some support to this possibility. In such a situation, to place the first appearance of Andalusite in the Albite Epidote Hornfels facies would be hardly better than a guess, consist with the textural evidence and the dimension of the areoles. With such qualification in mind, chemographic phase relation in the Albite Epidote Hornfels facies can be tentatively depicted in the figure 1, 2 and 3. The figure 1, ACF diagram of Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The possible additional phases are quartz, albite and epidote. Figure 2, AKF diagram of Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The possible additional phases are quartz, epidote and albite. The figure 3, the diagram CO, MgO and SiO2 diagram, mainly for the calcareous assemblies, where we can see the different phases assemblages in derivative of silicate dolomitic limestone composition to the left broken lines. Typical assemblages shown in figure 1, 2 and 3 are: first, the peltic assemblage. The peltic assemblage is a quartz, muscovite, biotite, chlorite, albite, epidote. Second, quartz, muscovite, biotite, andalusite, pyrophyllite, basic assemblage. Albite, epidote, actinolite, chlorite, plus minus quartz, plus minus biotite. Calcareous assemblage, calcite, talc, plus minus quartz. Another calcareous assemblage is your calcite, dolomite, talc, calcite, epidote. Physical condition of metamorphism. The lower temperature limit. The reaction between kaolinite and quartz to form pyrophyllite plus water characterized the beginning of Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The reaction is kaolinite plus quartz give rise to pyrophyllite plus water. This reaction was carried out by Thomson in 1970. At 345 degrees centigrade 2 kilobar and 375 degrees centigrade 4 kilobar. A certain rise in temperature has no effect on the stability of pyrophyllite, but strongly before the beginning of the hornblende Hornfels facies, the following reaction take place. Pyrophyllite give rise to andalusite plus quartz plus water. At 400 degrees centigrade 1 kilobar and 430 degrees centigrade 3.9 kilobar by Carrick in 1968. Upper temperature limit. The upper temperature limit can be shown by the following reactions. Reaction 1, chlorite plus muscovite plus quartz give rise to cordierite plus biotite plus aluminosilicate plus water. This reaction was carried out by Hesberg and Winkler in 1968. Another reaction is ale-rich chlorite plus quartz give rise to gaderite plus cordierite plus water. This reaction was carried out by Akela and Winkler at 550 degrees centigrade 1 kilobar and 560 degrees centigrade 2 kilobar. Another reaction is your chlorite plus tremolite plus quartz give rise to hornblende plus anthophyllite plus water at same PT condition as reaction 4, that is 550 degrees centigrade 1 kilobar and 560 degrees centigrade 2 kilobar by Chaudhary and Winkler 1967. These reactions suggest temperature ranging between 400 to 550 degrees centigrade during metamorphism in Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. Pressure conditions. Pressure condition ranges between few hundred to 4 kilobar. The upper limit is indicated by the reaction triple point of aluminosilicate, that is 622 degree centigrade 5.5 kilobar by Richardson et al. 1969. Another reaction 500 degree centigrade 3.96 kilobar by Holdway 1971. Absence of kyanite and common presence of andalusite suggest pressure of less than 4 kilobars. Thus, absence of almandine and kyanite in low pressure environment of metamorphism suggests of less than 4 kilobar pressure or so during metamorphism of Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. Now, the next module is important reactions. The important reaction, we can observe how the Albite Epidote Hornfels facies change into amphibolite facies. The beginning of hornblende Hornfels facies is marked by the disappearance of chlorite in the presence of quartz and by the first appearance of the following minerals, that is diopside, phosphorite, gracilorite, andradite, cummingtonite, etc. The reaction involved in the formation of these minerals are as follows. First reaction is your tremolite plus calcite plus quartz give rise to diopside plus CO2 plus water. Second reaction, chlorite plus muscovite plus quartz give rise to cordierite plus biotite plus water. Third reaction, chlorite plus andalusite plus quartz give rise to cordierite plus water. Fourth reaction, ale-rich chlorite plus quartz give rise to gaderite plus cordierite plus water. Reaction fifth is your chlorite plus tremolite plus quartz give rise to hornblende plus anthophyllite. Next reaction is your chlorite plus tremolite plus epidote give rise to hornblende plus water. Reaction 7 is your epidote plus calcite plus quartz give rise to gracilite oblique andradite plus water. Reaction number 8 is talc breakdown into Mg anthophyllite plus quartz plus water. Reaction number 9 is your tremolite plus calcite give rise to diopsite plus phosphorite plus CO2 plus water. Reaction number 10, tremolite plus dolomite give rise to phosphorite plus calcite plus CO2 plus water. These reactions are important. On the basis of these reactions, we can see how the Albite Epidote Hornfels facies change into hornblende Hornfels facies, that is a higher temperature facies of thermal metamorphism. If you will see, mainly the calcareous assemblages are important on the basis of CO, MgO and SiO2 diagrams. If we will observe, then we can see the important assemblages, that is, first is your dolomite, calcite, quartz, and second important assemblages is your dolomite, magnesite and quartz. These two are very important assemblages, mainly for dolomitic and calcareous marble assemblages. If impurities is there, then we can see how the tremolite is formed and talc is formed. If we will react, the magnesite plus silica react and form the talc, that is magnesite plus quartz give rise to talc. And another reaction is your magnesite plus calcite plus silica give rise to tremolite. And on the basis of ACF and CO, MgO and SiO2 diagrams, now we can observe the other important calcareous assemblages, that is, first is your calcite, tremolite plus minus quartz. Another important assemblages is your calcite, dolomite, tremolite, and another important assemblages that is slightly magnesium rich, that is your tremolite, talc plus minus quartz. So, these are the important calcareous assemblages, mainly we can observe in Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. The course content on metamorphic low pressure facies begin with the introduction, followed by the description of Albite Epidote Hornfels facies, the important characteristic minerals in this facies, the chemographic phase relation with the help of ACF, AKF and CO, MgO, SiO2 diagrams, and mineral assemblages for peltic, basic, calcareous rocks, and finally the physical condition of metamorphism during Albite Epidote Hornfels facies. Thus, absence of almandine and kyanite in low pressure environment of metamorphism suggests of less than 4 kilobar pressure or so during metamorphism of Albite Epidote Hornfels facies.